live every Sunday for Coffee and a Card. I've got my coffee here. My daughter made it and she threw 3 giant marshmallows in it. And some salted caramel sauce. So I love it when my daughter makes me coffee. We get these fun concoctions. Good morning. So hopefully you have a beverage of choice and you are ready to see some beautiful projects. They're messy but beautiful. Like my fingers are all blue and yeah, it's a mess. Anyways, thumbs up if you can hear me. I just want to make sure you guys can hear me and I'm not rambling onto myself. Good morning, Eva. Hello. Happy Sunday to all of you. Hope you had a fabulous Thanksgiving holiday last week. If you celebrate Thanksgiving, good morning. Okay, Eva says she can hear me, so that's good. Thank you, Eva. All right. So we have, first I always do my giveaway. So if you hit that share button, hopefully you'll share this on your Facebook page and that will get me more viewers. And then I have a giveaway, a thank you. I'm giving away this beautiful textured chic designer series paper. This is specialty paper. It's shiny, it's got gold, it's got silver. I love it. The polka dot sheet is my favorite. And I have a whole pack to give away to someone for sharing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hi, Dawn. Thank you. Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Linda. All right, here we go. Who's it going to be? Kim McCarthy. Thank you so much for sharing my videos every week and joining me. I will slip this name into this bag so I don't forget. There we go. All right. So thank you very much to everybody who shared. I really appreciate all of you. Just a heads up for those of you who placed an order with me last week and are getting the candy cane make and takes. I am a little bit behind. The tutorial's not ready to send out. Thanksgiving threw a wrench in things because we took an impromptu trip to Idaho for 3 days. So I'm a bit behind, but I promise to get that done today and get that email out and get your projects in the mail. So I'm working on that today. All right. Yay. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Gina. Jan. Oh, gosh, I'm going to slaughter that name. Jan. I don't know how I say that. Hi, Eva. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. So yesterday, Ashley and I did our very first bingo, which was so much fun. We had a lot of laughs and it was just a great time and the projects were adorable. And so I want to share them with you just because I have them. I made a set for myself and it was just a lot of fun. So I'm going to turn on this camera here, hopefully. Let's see how this goes. And I'm going to make it big for you guys. You can see, hopefully you guys can see my hands now. I just want to show you guys these cute projects. So here's my first card. The little window gnome here, super cute. And then Ashley's, of course, is stunner. I love that Ashley created little arms for the gnome out of mushrooms and the nose. So she took a nose piece and she cut it in half and made little arms. It was adorable. And then this is mine. I love this color combination. Got my pool party and my poppy parade and some mushrooms and made a little thank you card. Love that. Ashley's adorable little tag card with the peekaboo gnome. I call him the peekaboo gnome. He's adorable. And then my lantern card. You guys probably saw this if you've been following me on Facebook. I shared my lantern card. Maybe if I can get this open. And so it's just this cute little card. It opens up and then you can put a little tea light in here and make it a lantern. It'll just stay open like this. And then Ashley's little stunner here is this cute little woodland, I feel like, little bunch of creatures. You got the bird, you got the deer and the rabbit. And this is all out of the DSP. I just cut this all out of the DSP. The fox, the girl, the boy, the mushroom, the trees, everything is DSP. Isn't that such a stunner? Wow. So cute. So we had a lot of fun at bingo. Thank you to everybody who played along with us. Ashley and I will be doing another bingo in 3 months in March. And we're going to do these quarterly. And we're going to be using the new On the Farm set. It's so cute. You guys, look at these stamps. Ooh. And the dies are so amazing. This is brand new. This isn't even out yet. This is only available to demonstrators in December, and then it will be available to all other customers starting in January during celebration. And we have a new catalog launching. And look at this paper. Oh, the paper is stunning. And the dies, look how many dies. Look at the little sheep wool. Gives a little texture. The geese, the ducks, the pigs. Look at the hills have texture. The little windmill. So lots of very, very cool sets coming out. And this is the one that Ashley and I want to use for bingo. We're going to do a barnyard bingo in March. So be watching for that. Oh, yay, Eva. All right. So hopefully you guys will join us for the next bingo. We would love that. And yeah, we had a bunch of fun. So, and some awesome prizes. Okay, so today I am using the Snow Crystal stamp set. I have wanted to use this stamp set for as long as I have owned the stamp. It is really, really, I think, a sleeper. It's so pretty, so versatile. You can use it for a background. You can use it as the showstopper stunner. And I'm going to show you a couple ways to emboss with it and make some beautiful cards. And yeah, this one I think is carrying over, I believe, it's going to be carrying over from the holiday catalog. The holiday catalog is retiring. It's going to be no longer available at the end of December. So, but this set is carrying over. So here's my first card. Look at that. This is my idea of a distressed. Okay, Feline. So this is as distressed as I get here. I distressed the edges. I did some splatters of white, Whisper White ink, and I embossed and grunged the card. I love this. Look how beautiful that snowflake is. And then I used the Jingle 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 stamp set and cut out the word believe and put that across the front. I used shimmery white and shimmery white cardstock, so it's shimmery and shines and sparkles. You just can't really see it on camera, but it is just so pretty. And I'm going to show you guys how to make this. My second card is this fun little rainbow card. Not rainbow, but like a tricolor. So I made this snowflake using 3 different colors: Coastal Cabana, Highland Heather, and polished pink. And then I embossed on top of it to make it shiny. So I've got this shiny, fun card to show you. And then I did like the tricolor stamping. So this is definitely non-traditional Christmas, but still very, very pretty. Thank you, Carol, for sharing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good morning, everybody. Okay, and then this one, of course, is the showstopper. It is all glitter. It is simply stunning. I love the fact that all it is just this glittery, gorgeous snowflake. The sentiment I found to go with it is called, or it's from the, you'd think I'd have it memorized, Very Best Occasions. And it says, with a little more sparkle and a little less stress, let's make this Christmas the very best. Oh, I love it. And it's all about sparkle, right? A little more sparkle. So I kept this one very simple. Let the snowflake kind of do its job. And I'm going to show you guys how to make a glitter snowflake. Okay. So those are my 3 cards today using this stamp set. We are going to be using the Stamparatus for this because I like to use the big plates. Use the big plates for the snowflake. And it's just super easy, and it's a great way to make sure you've got a nice solid stamp when you're stamping. The other thing I used was the shimmery white cardstock. So let's see. This was a scrap of mine. Shimmery white cardstock. It's great for watercolor. You can see I watercolored some flowers and stuff and kept the scraps. Shimmery white cardstock in a pack. It comes with 10 sheets. And it's fabulous. If you don't own it, you need to get some because it's so glittery. It's so pretty in person. Okay, so the first card we're going to make is this blue one. I'm going to show you guys how to make it using the shimmery white cardstock. The very first thing you're going to do is put your piece of shimmery white here and make sure that your stamp is going to line up where you want it. Now, I kind of want this to be in the middle of my card, not completely centered. kind of off-centered a little bit. So I'm going to go right about there, which means I'm going to take my magnets and I'm going to put them here in the corners like that. Make sure I still got it where I want it. Looks good. Actually, I think I want to move it down a little bit. So this is the first kind of part of this, is just kind of making sure it's where you want it to be. And these magnets are super strong. Nice. Okay. So that's where I'm going to go. We are going to emboss with clear embossing powder. Hi, Karen. Hi, Cheryl. Good morning, Jamie. Okay. Yeah, the glitter one is definitely the wow card for sure. Okay. So we're going to take our embossing buddy and we're going to pass it over the cardstock because we don't want this embossing powder to stick anywhere other than where we stamp the snowflake. So embossing buddy, my best friend. There is an embossing toolkit that you can get that has the embossing buddy. It has a paintbrush. It has a tray. And so it's just kind of your perfect little starter kit for embossing. The other thing you need is the Versamark ink pad, Versamark stamp pad. And it has the kind of sticky ink that we need for the powder to stick. So Versamark ink all over our snowflake. Okay, and let's go ahead and stamp that. And with the Stamparatus, you just kind of got to rub this around and make sure it's nice and stuck down. Like so. Okay, I'm going to do it just one more time just to make sure everything is nice and good and solid, and that way my embossing powder sticks really well. So just making sure to put pressure all the way around. Okay. Tiffany, how many 12 by 12 DSP sheets are there normally in a pack? Yes, 12 normally, depending on the pack. 12 sheets. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use clear Stampin' Emboss powder. So we are going to take this out of the Stamparatus, trying not to touch too much. We don't want to get our oils everywhere, like the oils from our fingers. Look how messy my fingers are. We don't want to get the oils from our fingers everywhere. So we just want to kind of gently handle the paper. Get our clear embossing powder on here. This paper is so glittery. It's just so stunning. Okay. And then you can see, hopefully the camera shows you, see how it's stuck just to the stamp and you don't have any of that powder sticking anywhere else? That's perfect. That's exactly what we want. I can see some stuck over here on the side, so I'm going to brush that off. And now we're going to heat set that so that the clear powder melts and becomes shiny. So I'm just putting that excess powder back into its little cap. I love how the tray does that. It has that little opening for me to tap that powder right back where it belongs. Okay, so now we're going to use our heat tool and heat set this. And you can tell that it's heat set once it gets shiny. So it goes from a powder to shiny. You can kind of see when it happens. See how it starts to get shiny? I don't know if you guys can see that. See how it goes from a powder look to a shiny look? Then I know that the powder is melted. I think it's a magical thing when this happens. I love it. So pretty. Don't want to burn my fingers, so keep your hands far away from the heat because it gets very, very hot. You can actually burn your fingers, burn the paper, burn the heating powder. So you just want to be careful not to leave it on too long. Okay, so there's my clear image. Now it's just shiny. See? You can just barely see the snowflake. I'm going to put a scrap of paper here underneath because now we are going to use our blending brush, and we're going to use Pacific Point ink. Pacific Point ink and my blending brush. And I'm going to come at this from all sides, starting on the edges because I want the edges to be the darkest. And this step takes patience because you can see it doesn't get very dark at first. You have to keep adding color to get it darker and darker and darker. So you just keep rubbing in a circular motion. And I'm just adding ink at this point on the outside, kind of around the snowflake, because that's where I want it to be darkest. I want it to be dark on the edges. And this is how you get your fingers dirty, unless you have those finger slip-on cover things. I'm not going to call them what I know them as, but you know what I'm talking about. There's these little things that protect the fingers. Okay, so I'm just adding color around the edge until you get the consistency or the shade that you want. I want it pretty dark. So I just keep adding color until I've got it the shade I want it. See, I feel like there's too much white showing over here. Again, this is Pacific Point ink. Oh yeah, there's tweezers in the kit. I forgot about that. Thank you, Cheryl, for reminding me. There are tweezers in the kit to hold the paper so you don't burn your fingers when you're using the heat tool. Okay. All right, so now that I've got the outside of my card as dark as I want it, I'm going to start coming in towards the center to add color, but I want to keep it fairly light. So kind of almost like it's shiny. So always starting on the outside and then dragging the color in. And that's about as much as I want to go with the color. But you can see right now the embossing is not really showing because it's kind of turned blue. So what we actually have to do is we need to get a paper towel, a tissue, paper towel, and you need to rub the excess ink off of the embossing. You're going to have to put some pressure. Put some pressure on your rubbing to get that ink off of the white embossing. So you can see there's my snowflake. It came back to life. Okay, so getting the ink off of the snowflake. There you go. Okay, so there's my snowflake. There's my card. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little tool that I have, if I can find it. It's a little distressor. Now, if you don't have a distressor tool, which you can find them everywhere, you can find them at any craft store. You can order them online at Amazon. It has these little blades, and you can just slide your paper across them, and it will distress the cardstock. So that's what I'm doing now. Now, if you don't have one of these, you can use your scissors. It's a little bit harder, but you can take your scissors and you can, it's the same kind of thing, except it's probably not as safe, but you can distress your paper with your scissors. Okay. But I'm going to use my handy tool. I don't use this guy very often. You guys know I'm not a distressor normally, but I wanted to do. And I'm okay if the paper's getting wrinkled or crinkled. That's fine. That's kind of part of the distressing, right? Just kind of roughen it up. Okay, so there's my snowflake so far. I got my distressed edges. You could even tear the edges if you wanted. Just get it as roughed up as you want. Okay, so I'm gonna brush all this excess fluff off. Okay, so here's my card so far. Now, this first card that I did some splatters in the white craft ink, and I'm going to do that again. I'm just going to wait till it's the very last step because it takes a really long time to dry, and so I don't want to be sitting here all day or smearing the white craft paint after the fact. So the one thing we're going to do, we're going to put this on a base of Balmy Blue. So I have a base of Balmy Blue cardstock. I just folded that in half, and now we can adhere this to our card. I'm going to try and use the seal, but it's probably going to rip my paper. Yep, it ripped my paper. I am not having good luck with the seal. It's too strong. And I think I'm almost out of liquid glue, so this should be interesting. Okay, so we can glue this down. Like so. And I'm okay with the edges coming up because, again, that's kind of giving me that distressed look that I want. Okay, so Janie and Eva are playing Marco Polo, trying to find each other. I love that. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys real quickly. This ribbon is actually the Balmy Blue and White Grosgrain ribbon, I think it's called. Let me grab the catalog real quick and I'll show you. And I actually deconstructed it. I learned from Ashley. See this Balmy Blue? I don't have any more. I used the very last of it. But this Balmy Blue double stitched ribbon is really fun. You can actually pull apart the threads and remove this blue strip that goes down the middle. And then you're left with this white strip and this blue strip. And then I cut the white strip in half, which makes it fray even more. So I took the 3 pieces that I created and I just tied a knot. Just maybe. Why is it that you can tie things no problem when the camera's not rolling, but then when the camera rolls, it's like, oh, I forgot how to tie a knot. Now this one is going to be slightly smaller. So I just cut to the length that I want, and then you can actually pull the white pieces apart to create more fray, which is fun. See how each of these kind of has these little fibers. Just pulling them apart to kind of create that distressed look. Okay. And I just tied that into a knot. And so you can actually take a glue dot and just stick this into the corner of your card. I did not, Janie. I did. You guys found each other. I'm so glad. Janie and Eva found each other. Okay. So now I've got my snowflake and my ribbon. I'm going to get this Believe. So here you have a scrap of Balmy Blue, and we have the word Believe from the stamp set Jingle, Jingle, Jingle. So let me show you what that looks like. Ashley and I, are actually using it for our last festivity delivered today. So Jingle, Jingle, Jingle. We're going to use the word Believe, and we're just using the outline of Believe. Now, okay, you guys tell me. So here's what I was thinking. You guys know how I am. I always make a card and then I want to change it up. Do you think that I should make Believe out of white letters? Would white show up better? Should I just stamp in Balmy Blue on white cardstock and then cut out the words so that they're white? Or should I leave them in the Balmy Blue with the white embossing? What do you guys think? Please tell me. Because I'm not sure. Eva says white. You think I should use it on a white piece and then stamp it in Balmy Blue? White. Okay, you guys are saying white. Let's try it. So I'm going to do it this way instead. And then we have something to compare. I always like that anyway. Jill says blue with white embossed, which I've done. Yes, try it on white. Okay, we're going to try it on white. So stamping in Balmy Blue this time. And we're going to put it in white. And then we're going to, this is the part that takes the longest, I think, is just cutting out the letters. But they're nice and square letters, so it's not too bad. Like, they've got nice straight edges for the most part, except the B. I've got performance anxiety now. I'm like, they're watching me cut letters. Now it's going to be like, for the life of me, I'm not going to be able to cut a straight line. So I'm trying to leave a little bit of space around the stamp. It's probably most difficult trying to stamp inside the E. Okay. These are definitely beautiful cards. They're going to take some time and some love and attention to make them. You know, you could always, I didn't really show you an easy way to use it, but you could always just stamp it in the background. You don't have to emboss it or add glitter. You can just have it as a pretty background. Okay. Look how blue my fingers are. 2 more letters. You guys are being super patient. Okay. And 1 more letter. And then I had to remember how to spell it. The silence. I'm like, try to think of something to talk about. Oh, I guess I have something exciting to talk about. So, Ashley and I announced yesterday at our bingo that we're going to be bringing back Creativity Delivered in January. So you know how we kind of stopped that because I kind of, you know, had a breakdown basically. Work was being really tough and the stress was just getting really bad and I had to kind of step away. And so we took a pause on Creativity Delivered, but we are coming back starting in January. So we'll be advertising in December. And I believe, well, today, Ashley and I are going to get together and discuss the sets that we want to use for the first couple of months. And then we'll let you guys know what those sets are going to be. So those of you who aren't familiar with Creativity Delivered, it's this really fun monthly card kit, basically. Like, I think it's like a 10 times better version of Paper Pumpkin. Don't tell Stampin' Up! I said that. And basically, it comes with 8 make and takes. It comes with $20 in Stampin' Up! Product, basically the product that you need to make the kits. And all you need is the stamp set, or you can just use whatever you have to. It doesn't have to be that exact stamp set. And then it comes in a cute bag that you can reuse. And Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Ashley and I have a ton of fun doing it coming up with the designs every month. So that is happening. It's coming back. You guys should be seeing details about that here soon. I'm not sure why this one, maybe because I used more dark blue ink, but this one's kind of lighter. It's more on the light side. Not sure why, but so I'm going to show you how I did the craft ink splatter. So I took some of this Whisper White ink refill. It is very thick, super, super thick. And this is going to be the last piece that we do because it's messy and it takes a while to dry. But I got my water painter and I added a little bit of water and just got it nice and juicy. And then I'm just going to use my cap and I'm going to fling white. And this is going to make it look like snow. Oh, so pretty. Yeah, now I've made a mess. You can see I've kind of like speckled everywhere. So I'm going to wipe that up. And you can just do that with a baby wipe. It comes right off. But I don't want to touch my card for a while because I want to allow it to dry. But you can see all the pretty little snowflakes it makes. I like the white. The white kind of pops more than the blue. So thank you guys for that suggestion. Thank you. I love it. Okay, so that's card number 1. And that's just a very fun kind of negative space, if you will, like a negative print of the snowflake by adding that ink for the background. Okay, the next one I think is really fun. Definitely my style. And I have to find it. Oh, here it is. Kind of rainbow color, if you will. And I made it shiny by doing the clear embossing. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So if you take so I've got my 3 colors, Highland Heather, Coastal Cabana, and Polished Pink. Are those the cutest colors? So I have this piece of, this is just basic white. I'm going to do basic white. I'm not going to do the shiny. And the reason is, I know you probably can't see. Well, maybe you can. But the shimmery white cardstock is definitely an off-white color. So it's definitely has more yellow tint than basic white. So I'm going to go with regular white because I don't really need that extra sparkle on this card. I'm going to go basic white with the basic white base. And it's just going to make my eyes happier because, like I said, it's just kind of off-white and not my favorite. Okay, so let's go ahead and figure out where we want this bad boy. I say this one has to be in the middle just because you want a nice even amount of each color, I guess you could say. Oh, my magnets. Look at my finger is stuck between my 2 magnets. Don't do that. Okay, so let's see. Is that going to be good? I think that will be good. So make sure my magnets aren't in the way. All right. So to do this, to make this tri-colored snowflake, we need 3 little sponge daubers. Okay. So these are what the sponge daubers look like. Okay, I've got the 3 colors, the Coastal Cabana, Polished Pink, and the Highland Heather. Okay. And we are going to sponge the 3 colors onto the snowflake. So we're basically going to divide the snowflake into 3 sections and put 3 different colors on there. So let's start with Polished Pink. So I've got my sponge dauber. I'm putting some ink on my sponge and I'm going to sponge the snowflake and I'm just dividing it into 3 sections. So each color is going to take 2 branches of the snowflake. Okay, so these 2, I just want to make sure it's nice and inked. These 2 will be the Polished Pink. Okay, and then Highland Heather are the next 2. It's kind of hard to see. The nice thing about doing this in the Stamparatus is if you feel like one of your colors isn't dark enough when you stamp, you can just ink it up some more and stamp it again. So, and I do like to have the colors blend just a little bit. I think it's really pretty that way. So if we feel like we went over and kind of mixed into the next little branch, it's okay. I love that look. I love when the colors just kind of naturally mix a little bit. So again, it is kind of hard to see the color that you've sponged on, but I promise you it's there. And we'll see how that goes. I'm going to huff, so watch my head if it's in the way. Sorry. You want to huff and get this wet with your breath because the ink will start to dry as you take time. SpongeBob. Ooh, so pretty. Okay, so I feel like the blue is not transferring very well. So let's add some more blue, which is this section here. Actually, I think I'm going to just do a whole nother round because I want the color nice and obvious. Nice and bright. I feel like the pink is definitely the brightest of the bunch right now. Okay, let's try that. Ooh, so pretty. Look at that tricolor Stamparatus. It does totally sound like something from Harry Potter. Okay. Oh no. Ah, I moved it. I'm not supposed to move it like I did. Dang it. Let's see if I can pretend like I know where it went. Shoot, shoot, shoot. You definitely don't want to move it because we need to emboss with a clear emboss powder to go over the top. So we need to clean off the ink. So clean that off. And we'll close our ink pads because we don't, well, we'll keep the ink pads open for a second because we're going to do a little label. But let's go ahead and clean off the ink from our snowflake. We're going to use Versamark this time. Definitely want it to dry off a bit. We're going to use a Versamark. And before we stamp this, we want to use our embossing buddy and we want to clean off our paper because, again, we're going to be putting that clear emboss powder. So we just want to make sure that nothing else sticks. Okay, so here's the clear. Thankfully, this is clear, so if we're not perfectly lined up, I bet you we won't even be able to notice. So, but if you're going to be doing this, do not move your paper until after. Okay, so let's take this off now. Forgot what I was doing. And pour the clear emboss powder on. That's pretty dang good if you ask me. I mean, that's pretty well lined up. Very nice. Okay, so let's pour this back. And then we'll heat set the clear. And so this basically allows us to use whatever color we want on the stamp itself and then make it shiny, give it like this shiny glossy look. So that's why I love the clear embossed powder. So as Cheryl mentioned, let's use our tweezers, be smart about this, right? And do our heating. my goodness. It's so pretty, you guys. I know it's hard to see, but look at that. I'm trying to make it shine for you. Oh my goodness. So cool. Okay. So the next thing I did was I have 3 pieces of cardstock that are 1 3/4 by 3 7/8. So I'm going to cut these down to 1 5/8 by 3 3/4. Whew. You don't have to remember any of these measurements, because if you are part of my newsletter, if you've joined my newsletter, I'm going to be sending out the tutorial for this as well, with all the supplies used and everything. So 1 5/8 by 3 3/4 is the measurement. And we're just going to cut these into sections. So 1 5/8. And I think this last one. Okay, so there are our 3 sections of snowflake. And so we are going to kind of puzzle this together and kind of, I try to keep the same colors with the same colors. So I'm going to do pink with this one because it's got the little pink end. And we'll do Coastal Cabana in the middle because it's got the most Coastal Cabana. And then Highland Heather for the last panel. So we'll glue those together. And then I know I kept those ink pads open, so we'll stamp the sentiment on a scrap of basic white. They're so pretty. Oh my gosh. I love these colors together. your cat's cuddled next to you making dough. I love when they knead like that with their big paws. My I have a black and white cat. He's so funny. All he cares about is food. And that's his one passion in life. And he kneads your head. He'll like go and he'll sit on top of your head and then he'll just knead it. It's like so weird. Okay. So I'm going to stamp Merry Christmas. The Merry Christmas I used is from the Celebrate with Tags. Merry Christmas. So again, I'm going to do the exact same technique as before, where I'm going to use the 3 sponge daubers and I'm going to sponge the color onto the stamp and then stamp it onto the piece of cardstock. So I'm going to do it in the order of my colors here. So it's going to go purple, Coastal Cabana, Highland Heather, Coastal Cabana, and then polished pink. So Highland Heather first on the side. Then Coastal Cabana. And then polished pink. Okay, and then the same thing, you want to huff to like re-moisten it, moist, and then stamp the sentiment. Look at that pretty thing. So cute. Okay, so one of the things I will say, what? Unless you're playing bingo with Tiffany, then you so need to remember the numbers. Yes, I am getting blurry. It is super windy here, and I think my internet is getting interrupted. That is my theory. So I apologize. Hopefully, it'll kind of catch up with itself. Eee! I was worried about that. It is like blustery wind outside, and I thought, ooh, my internet might not be so great this time. Okay. Yeah, slow-mo. I apologize. Hopefully it'll catch up with itself. All right, so I'm just trimming this down. You can die cut it. You can do whatever you want. Make a pretty label. I'm just going to trim it down. So I've got this pretty little label. I love these 3 colors together, you guys. This is so fun. Okay. So I got my label, and now we can glue our 3 panels on and then add our label, some ribbon, and some embellishments. So I'm just going to glue my 3 panels. Oops, kind of went off the edge there. It's like putting a little puzzle together. And I've got to make sure I give myself enough space. Yep, don't have enough space there. So you just kind of want an even gap between the 3 panels. And that's why the liquid glue is nice, because it can give you a little bit of wiggle room. So there's what we have so far. Then we have this cute little label, and I used some of the glittered organdy ribbon to put behind it. So I just took a little bit. Look how blue my fingers are. And I'm just going to stick it behind the label in a zigzag pattern, like so. And then I'm going to use dimensionals to kind of hold it all down. And one more. Because I'm using the dimensionals to hold the ribbon and hold the label, I'm using more than I normally would, just because I need it to stick everything down. Okay. So then you can just kind of pick wherever you want to put this. It can be down at the bottom, it can be up at the top. I think I like it down here. Wherever you want. I did the top on this one, bottom on this one, and then I used the Glossy Dots assortment, which has, you know, kind of the 3 colors. It could go either way, right? This could be Gorgeous Grape, which is a lot darker than Highland Heather, but just take some dots if you can. I'm obviously having trouble, and glue them down. I'm kind of keeping the same colors in their respective panels. So I've got Coastal Cabana there, Polished Pink here. I think that's enough. So there you have the fun, pretty colors. So this one turned out a lot darker than this one. This one's much lighter, but I like the dark. Very pretty. So a fun way to add color to the snowflake and make it a fun little background. Okay, glitter time. Time for the glitter. This one's really cool. So Stampin' Up! Doesn't currently carry any glitter, but I'm sure you guys have a bunch of glitter in your stocks piles of craft things. I have the old retired Dazzling Diamonds glitter that Stampin' Up! Used to sell, and we are going to make a sparkly mess. So start with a piece of that shimmery white cardstock. It's so pretty. And you will, what am I trying to say? I'm looking for my snowflake. So when you stamp this, obviously you want it to be off to the side a little bit. So we're going to position our piece of paper that way. I kind of want it, let's see, how do I want it? Like this, I think. Like this. Like this. Okay. So I kind of want it coming off of the card. I'm going to do it kind of in the corner like this. So you just kind of figure out where you want it in relation to Okay, so there's where I want it. Now, we are going to use our embossing buddy and clean this paper off because we don't want anything to stick. Okay, and then we have what is called heat and stick powder. This is going to be important, and Stampin' Up! Does sell this. It's called heat and stick powder. It's item 156110, and we are going to use Versamark ink to ink up our stamp. So heat and stick powder is basically like embossing powder, but it's super sticky. And so when you melt it, it becomes sticky, and then whatever you put on there will stick to it. So that's how we're going to get our glitter to stay, is by using that heat and stick powder. So just making sure that we have a nice, good coverage of Versamark ink on our paper. It is not Tiffany weather. It is windy, super windy, like howling winds. My daughter said the wind kept her up all night long. It didn't keep me up, but it was very loud this morning. Kind of crazy. Okay. So once I've got the Versamark on there, now I'm going to pour the heat and stick powder on there and then heat set it. So where's my tweezers? My magnet's kind of making a mess. The washi tape I have on there is like a blue, and it like leaves residue on my paper. Okay, so pouring the heat and stick powder on. Make sure it's nice and covered. Uh-oh, I have some spots where the Versamark did not stick, but that's okay. It's not going to be really that obvious once we get the glitter on it and add the bow. Okay, so tapping that excess in there. Let's heat set this. Okay, so now it's sticky. I'm going to stick it back in here, and then I'm going to use my Dazzling Diamonds, which is very full. I think I combined 2 containers, which is why it's so full. But I'm sticking that glitter right on there, covering it up. Tapping off the excess. Ooh, look at that. Okay, so you can see there's extra glitter that's kind of all around. It's like stuck to the paper, and that's all going to go away. Once I heat set this, only the stuff that's stuck there is going to stay, and then we can brush off the rest. So I'm heating it underneath the paper, and I just want to do that to help the glitter stick. Kind of gonna make sure that that glitter stays. Okay, so now what we can do is we can brush off any excess glitter on the cardstock, and it will just come right off. And it doesn't take any glitter off of our snowflake because that's all stuck down with that heat. So there is our snowflake, and it's super sparkly. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that. So stunning. Okay. So that's the beauty of this card, is how simple it is. It's just glitter. Let's see if I can get all this glitter to fit back in this. I don't know how it feels like there's more glitter than what I started with, but messy. Okay. I'm covered in glitter. All right, so we've got our snowflake, and now I'm going to take some of that glitter organdy ribbon, and I'm just going to, actually, let's stamp the Season's Greetings first. So I'm going to stamp Season's Greetings right down here on the bottom in Smoky Slate. The Season's Greetings is from Merriest Moments. And then the sentiment on the inside is from that, remember I'm saying Very Best Occasion stamp set. This is a bundle in the mini catalog, the holiday catalog, and it's this one right here. And that one is in a bundle with a punch. It's like like the detailed trio punch, but like 3 different punches. So it's kind of awesome. So I'm just going to stamp Season's Greetings down here in this Smoky Slate. So it's not very noticeable, but it's like a nice, subtle, pretty card. Okay, so organdy ribbon. I'm going to just tie a knot. So I'm going to wrap this around. And the nice thing is it's going to go right over this area where I didn't get a very clear stamp. Didn't, you know, the glitter didn't really stick that well over here. And that's perfect because I'm going to hide it with my ribbon. Just using my tweezers as like a 3rd set of fingers to hold that in place for me. And now I'm going to pull tight. I'm just doing a knot. And then you can trim it down to the size that you want. Like so. And then figure out how and where you want it. You can move it around if you want to. Okay. And then I'm using a glitter white cardstock, the glittery white cardstock as the base, because this, like I mentioned, is kind of an off-white, and it would look really weird against a regular white cardstock base. It's not very vanilla. It's not as yellow as very vanilla, but it's not as white as basic white. So it felt like it just needed to have a the same color base. The only downfall is that there's only 10 sheets of shimmery white cardstock in a pack. So I tend to use it sparingly. Okay. And then I used these elegant faceted gems as my embellishment. I used the clear ones. So just kind of place them around the snowflake. Ooh, not that one. Okay, I think I'm going to stop at 3. I don't think it needs more than that. And then on the inside, we're going to stamp that with a little more sparkle and a little less stress. Let's make this Christmas the very best. Love it. So anyways, I hope you guys are inspired by these little snowflake cards, and that you fall in love with the Snow Crystal stamp set, because I just, oh, that's crooked. So I'll add another sheet over top of that. But I just love the sentiment because it has the word sparkle in it, and we made a sparkle card. And yeah, I'm in love with all of them. Please tell me which one is your favorite. I just think that they're very different styles, but they're just really cool in their own way. I think I really like the blue one. I know that's not my normal style, but I really like the blue and the glitter. But there you go. 3 different fun ideas using the snowflakes. Thank you guys so much for watching today. Thank you for hitting that share button. And I hope you guys have a fabulous week. I will see those of you at bingo on Wednesday. Those of you coming to my studio, I'm excited to play bingo. And we'll see you guys next week. Take care. Bye-bye.